Hey, how's it going, guys? Sean from Team Honey Badger here, to bring you guys a deck profile to my Extreme Battler deck. This one is a little bit long awaited, and I think it's finally time to give it to you all. So, yeah, this is pre G-BT06, of course, because we don't have that English beta, but the deck will change pre G-BT06. So, without further ado, let me get into it. Starter is Run Ball. Run Ball. Just zooming in for you. Run Ball is like the most important card in this deck due to the amount of plays it opens for this deck. So when you usually ride your Run Ball, you're going to move it here because when something stands in front of it, it stands back up too. You don't want to put it behind your Vanguard because the way I play Novas, I want to go hyper aggressive on my first stride if I can. So yeah, that's why I move Run Ball here and not behind the Vanguard, and most Nova Grapple players should move it to either the left or the right column. And also, if you put it behind your Vanguard, with how defensive you should be this format, you're gonna have to call one possibly crucial card, just saying, to replace the Run Ball later on. So yeah, that's why I play Run Ball. Next for grade 3s, I am playing 4 Extreme Battler Victor. Of course, he's the heartbreak of the deck. We all should know what he does by now. So, sorry guys, I'm a little bit under the weather. But, Extreme Battler Victor, he is so good. So, Generation Break. Of course, when he attacks, he'll gain 5k power. And the effect that you get to stand something and give it 5k. 5k is like giving stuff 5k is like the magic number in this deck. All the cards that stand stuff give 5k. So that's why Generation Break 2 isn't that bad. Sometimes I use it. Sometimes I do that over Stride, and sometimes this could be the better play over Striding because I know they're going to have that Perfect Guard, and I might not have that Counterblast for Victoplasma. So just staying on Victor and using his Generation Break could be handy. Alright, that's it for that. Next for the backup grade 3, we are playing 4 Muscle Shriek. Muscle Shriek's the really only good backup grade 3 at the moment. I tried Raidbird, but I just think Muscle Shriek's ability of being able to retire starters if you ride him, at the cost of a Counterblast and a Soul Blast, is pretty good. And his Generation Break isn't that bad either, but he will get switched after G-BT06 comes out. So we don't really care about what he does, because you always will ride Victor. There's multiple ways to search him out other than drawing him. Next for grade 2s, we're playing 4 Cool Hank. You must play 4 Cool Hank in this deck due to how this deck is played. Because when he's the Amber Clone for Novas, so when he attacks the Vanguard, if he's boosted, you stand something and give it 5k. Like I mentioned, guys, giving the 5k is about every card that stands something in this deck, and it's not restricted to standing itself. So one of the plays that you can do is attack side with 9, attack with this boosted, stand this. Of course, you're gonna have the booster, and then attack again, stand this. So it's just a lot of Hanka boost going on. You really must play this guy at 4. I don't ever see myself dropping down. So that's Cool Hank. Next, the main combo piece. I only play 3 Sazanda. Now, Sazanda I only play at 3 is because I have other options in the stack and grade 2 space is pretty tight. But 3 I found just enough to be able to take advantage of his skill, because the power stacks on him, so he gains 5k each time he stands, and like we talked about, since all the cards in this deck that stand stuff give 5k, Sazanda could stack pretty high power. I've gotten him over to 100k once, but that play is extremely situational. So yeah, that's why we play Sazanda. Yeah, not much what I love to say. But then he's great. Next we play 3 10k vanillas. Since the game slowed down and 10k vanillas could actually be played, I'm actually playing 10k vanillas due to I notice a lot of generation break decks calling a full field turn 2 or trying to rush me. So the 10k vanillas just have an answer to that rush, but these likely will come out when G-BT06 comes out. Next for my last grade 2, we are playing 2 Starlight Hedgehog. The unflip helps tremendously in this deck because this deck uses an insane amount of counterblast, like everything counterblast in this deck. Like this counterblast, this counterblast, this counterblast, this counterblast. But Starlight Hedgehog definitely adds a little bit more versatility to that counterblast. Because when she has a skill, when she's called to the rear, you choose one of your other units, and then it gains the effect with once per turn. When it stands, you draw a card and unflip a damage. The draw is also very helpful, since those have no way of deck thinning. This is a form of deck thinning for this deck, and odds are you're not going to draw a trigger. That's just the way how Vanguard works, since you play less triggers in your deck. So it just helps you get deeper and deeper to that trigger stack. Next for grade 1s, we are playing 4 G perfect guards. I'm not really scared of the cross, and the cross is the cross. You just have to know how to play around with that matchup. You're probably not going to call a lot of things early in that matchup. And with Laurel, this deck has an answer to Laurel, so... And if you're playing this deck correctly, you could let the Laurel hit and then just have an answer to them next turn due to how hyper aggressive this deck is and how YOLO it could be. So that's the perfect guard G's. And of course the unflip helps, like I said, a lot of things counterblast. Next we play 4 Stride Enablers. Of course this also searches out your Victor. And it's also the pitch to stride. This deck is a generation break deck you want to play 4, just so you could ease your stride, and because when you ride in this deck, you immediately want to stride. So that's why we play that. Next we play 3 Claydol Mechanic. Not much to say about him other than he unflips the damage. Like I said, counterblast is an issue. So yeah, that's that. This is for our final grade 1. We play 2 Final Wrench. So this is gonna change obviously when G-BT06 comes out. Final Wrench, he's okay. He's not. I find him extremely situational, and I really don't know what else to play over him. So if you guys have any suggestions before G-BT06 comes out, please leave a comment below, and I will look into that. So yeah, Final Wrench, something stands in front of him, gains 4k. The unit still gains 4k, makes 23k with Sazanda at 1 stand. It's okay. Next for triggers, we are playing 4 of the Extreme Battler crit. These will obviously be the Victor crit. 1 Red Lightning. I only have 1 extra at the moment, the rest are in blouse, which you will see a deck profile on soon. And 3 Shining Lady. Like I said, I only have 1 Red Lightning. I'm working on getting 3 more, because I don't want to have to keep switching them. So yeah, it's a common, so it should be easy to get. And then 4 draws. We don't play stands in this deck because the deck already stands itself. So I don't think stands are needed at all. And then 4 heals. Of course, heals are heals. Next for the G zone, we are playing 2 Meteor Kaiser Tribute. He is like your main answer to all of these annoying rear guards. Silent Tom, Laurel, Cat Butler, even the Mirror Match. He's the main card in the matchups because when something stands in your row, you get to counterblast 1 and kill something. And especially coming with your Rumble, the synergy that this card has with this is insane because you could use Victor's on-stride skill and then stand the rear guard with the Rumble boosting, then Rumble will restand, and you get to kill 2 units off 3 counterblasts. And Starlight Hedgehog could help mitigate the cost if you called it during that turn. So yeah, that's why we play Tribute. 2 is just the perfect number. I don't ever see myself playing more. 2, Vic-10, your generic on-hit stride. When he hits the Vanguard, stand something, give it 5k. Always nice. And finally, your 4 Vic Plasma, which is your re-standing stride unit. And he is a -1 in card advantage. But he's the best stride Novas has, so that's why we play him at 4. So yeah, I know I'm gonna get asked this question, how is he a -1? Because you discard 1 card per stride, right? So that's already 1. Then you drag checks, that's a +1, but then you discard 2. So yeah, it's a -1 in card advantage. But usually won't make a difference because it's grade 3, but potential PG fodder. Just saying. So